If you need me, I'm yours.
What's up, people? I'm trying to like switch this up, and for some strange reason, it's not working. There you go. There you go. Welcome to the show. I've been working on it all day, and you know, the presentation isn't exactly how I want it to be, but like, I thought I'd try and switch it up, try and make it a bit more interesting for people. And like, we've got now this new screen. I want to see like actually if it actually.
Ha ha ha, what a sucker.
It's kind of annoying that it doesn't now. Yeah, it does. Okay. So let's see. So I get that.
Ha ha ha, what a sucker.
Yep. Let me go back. Let's go back here. Yeah. Okay, we're here. So shout out to anybody that's watching on YouTube, on X, Pump Fun. Yeah. Let's not forget that. And Twitch. So I'm streaming on 4 platforms. Ideally, I would like to be on Pump Fun, so I've started like a little community thing over on Pump Fun, and if you guys were interested, check out the app. You can type my name in and I'm there. Just join the community. It's not really much going on there because it's just me, so technically it's a community of 1. If we can make it 3, that would kind of make it a community, I guess, but yeah, we'll see. So yeah, usual stuff we're going to talk about today. We're going to like talk about price action. We're going to talk about charts, like what is going on in the market, just my own personal opinions. None of it is financial advice. Yeah, it's not really like many interesting breaking stories. The Clarity Act sort of passed through the Senate, I think it is, or it's going to the Senate now to be voted into law. A lot of people think that's a bullish catalyst. I don't know if it is. I mean, guess more rules and legislation would help the people who are already through the gate. The people who are sitting outside the gate who don't even know what crypto is, they'll probably find out from their broker or their accountant, and then be charged a massive fee to try and figure out how it all works. Probably they wouldn't even try and figure out how it all works. It's more than likely that they'll just delegate some money to that person and tell that person to get to work. Yeah, but we've got a chat box going now. We've got alerts. It's slowly coming together. I didn't realize how complicated this streaming stuff is, like there's a lot of like moving parts, and I keep on adding little bits here and there. The avatar, yeah, it's a new addition, and I just thought, man, I don't know, let me try something a bit different in it, because there's not many avatars out there that actually talk about crypto, Sorry, just give me a sec. Let me get that down. That could go away, thank you. Actually, do you know what I'm going to do? Just give me a second, guys. I'm just sorting out my screen before I go to this main screen, because I've got some stuff I want to put away. Let me minimize that. Yeah. So, God's sake, what is this? Uno momento. Do you know what? Just give me a sec. It was all working smoothly earlier. Now it's like.
Ha ha ha, what a sucker.
Right, so what are we looking at? Looking at the old Bitcoin chart, and as you can see, is it capitulation? I don't know. Something's wrong. Okay, so that's apologies. That's so embarrassing. I don't know how people have such smooth streams. Stop. Thank you. God. Oh, right. It should be okay now. Great start. All right, yeah. And maybe I'll turn down slightly. There you go. Okay, are we here? Are we clear? Yeah. Yeah, so the Bitcoin price, man, I'm so surprised. Like, I think we're gonna have like a week or two of like alt action. Now, you know, a lot of people are gonna get euphoric in this period. A lot of people are gonna be excited about, you know, the future of I don't know, Plasma token, for instance, or like, you know, ENA, for instance. That's up 20% today. A lot of people are gonna get excited about these things, thinking that they're back. But like, trust me when I say it's more than likely that you're gonna lose your hat. I mean, like, it's really cheap prices, and the announcement from Coinbase from yesterday is obviously a catalyst for the price to go up. But yeah, I just don't know if ENA is the thing that you want to be picking up, but maybe it is right now in the current climate, because what it looks like to me is that the ETH ratio or the Bitcoin ratio is slowly starting to trickle down. Finally, you know, it's been like at 60% dominance for the longest time. You know, this doesn't go back here, so you know, it's been at like 60%. It's just been like cratering up since last year, 2022. You know, the Bitcoin Massive or the Bitcoin Maxis, they made a lot of money in it going up, and alts got completely crushed. And I've got a feeling like a lot of people that are actually in the market right now haven't experienced a true altcoin cycle, okay? Where, like, you know, Bitcoin actually just goes down in terms of market dominance, and alts just catapult, they just fly, you know? It's been a long time. I think I've only experienced that one time, and you could say like the last cycle with memes was like that sort of thing, but trust me when I tell you, it's nothing like an altcoin cycle. But I believe that the people who are participating in the market currently are way more knowledgeable about the assets that they want to buy and believe will go up. You have to have a sort of understanding about the type of tokens that you want to own in this current climate or current part of the cycle. And it seems like the current narrative is tokens that have like a buyback and burn function, staking mechanism, and yeah, I guess that's it pretty much, you know, like, and no emissions. You know, like there's a few tokens that came out, like a Mega ETH is a prime example of, like, you know, there is an emission schedule. Starknet, for instance, an emission schedule. There's like loads of tokens that have high FTV, low floats. And tokens are just pretty much getting dumped on holders' heads. Uniswap, to me, is one of the surprising ones, because I know that all the emissions have come out, but it's continually hitting new lows, because I believe people just don't see the value in holding a DeFi token like Uniswap. Maybe, like, you know, if they start doing fee share for V4, which is their version 4, which has the hooks, it might get a bid, it might catch a bid. But in the current climate, with them saying, oh yeah, we're doing fee share, but only for V2 and V3 pools, nobody's using those. So, like, you know, the fee share is negotiable, like negligible. You're not going to get like much out of it. So it's sort of like a cop out on their part. So yeah, I mean, the main ones that are flying at the moment is Zcash, because everyone's trying to spin a narrative that Zcash is private Bitcoin. I mean, if you want to believe that, you can. The price is saying that it's true. I don't know if it is. Pump Fund, for some strange reason, is going nowhere. It's sideways, but you know, it's 8% up on the day, but it looks like a completely dead token. I don't see any like reasons or justifications for the price going up, but it does have a buyback function. So, like, you know, they are buying back tokens on a daily basis. It's normally about $1 million a day. All the fees that Pump Fund receive, well, not even all the fees anymore, it's like 60%, because they reduced it, didn't they? 60% of the fees are actually going back into buying the token, not burning it, just buying it. They did burn like 3.5 million or 30 million or something, some crazy number they burnt of those tokens that they did buy back before. A lot of people were assuming it was for the airdrop, but obviously it's not that. So they have reduced their circulating supply, but it's done little to move price in an upwards motion or fashion. Aerodrome's another one that surprised me as well, because like they're coming out with their new V4 version, I guess you can call it, and that's coming out on Ethereum mainnet. It has got fee share, but you do have to vest your tokens. So like, you know, you have a vested contract or like an NFT, and you vote on different pools, and you get rewards for your votes in the form of tokens. So you do earn a yield, but at the same time, because you have to sell your NFTs at a discount, many people believe that it's just not a good deal. Like, so like, say you've got 100k, and you vest those tokens, you can sell that NFT on in a secondary market, but then, you know, people aren't really going to be willing to buy your token, or buy your NFT at market value, because they're like, well, I could just buy a market price. Why would I buy your NFT? So they lowball you basically. So you could be losing like 30 to 40% on your NFT if you did want to sell it on a secondary market. What else is there? XRP, we all know XRP's dog shit, but like, you know, they've got a religious, or like, you know, a fanatical bunch of people that follow it. Although, you know, price does look a bit toppy here. Price does look a bit, well, not toppy, but like, you know, like it just wants to dump. I think the believers are starting to get a bit worn out. But man, how many times have I walked in and someone's like, yeah, I'm into crypto, and like, what tokens do you own? It's like XRP. And it's like, well, why do you own XRP? And then they just look at you with a blank stare. Like, you know, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's weird. It's like they're hypnotized. They've read that, they've heard something, or there's like some secret book that everyone knows about but no one talks about, that I'm not, like, you know, at liberty to even see or anything like that. No one's trying to show me it. So yeah, XRP is an interesting one. Luna's from the old cycle is completely dead. They just closed down their they tried to do something like a meme coin, sort of AI meme coin sort of, I don't know, trading venue, and it just completely flopped. They didn't get any liquidity or market share. Uniswap would be through. Hyperliquid's the star of the show at the, I mean, look at that. I mean, so Hyperliquid is basically what you want to see in your token. You want to see, like, you know, a healthy airdrop to people and believers, and you want to see, you know, them doing the buyback and burns, and they're making so much in fees now, especially since, you know, they started allowing you to trade, like, you know, 24-hour stocks basically. Probably the first to do it, I think. And the non-KYC, we've been through this. I was like glazing over Hyperliquid yesterday or the day before. It had a bit of a sell-off yesterday. I still got my options positions open because I believe that this thing is going to triple digits at some point. I mean, it's $25 away. It's 25% away from it going, you know, to $100. I believe it could do that, especially if it keeps on going up 5% a day like it has been doing. I've got a feeling there's going to be like a big, you know, FU candle to the rest of the market, irrespective of like what's happening with the majors. And interestingly enough, it's actually flipped Solana in price action, or like token price. I'm not sure about market cap. I haven't looked at that. I don't really check out Coin Market Cap since CZ bought it. I think it's Coin Market Cap that he bought, isn't it? Or it might be the other guy, Justin Sun. One of them. I just don't even bother going there. But yeah, Solana's looking pretty bad right now. And I've noticed that, you know, there's very little catalyst for Solana to go up. They haven't found product market fit as of yet. They had the whole Pump Fund run, okay? And Pump Fund was using Solana as a pairing for their meme coins. But now, obviously, they've switched to USDC and Solana. And a lot of people are saying, well, USDC is a stable coin, so it makes more sense to actually have that as a pairing. So yeah, what's the use case for Solana right now? Plus the emission schedule did not get reduced. There was a vote to say, should we reduce the emission schedule for Solana? And they didn't do that. So yeah, now there's just like, you know, no buyers and, you know, constant emissions. So price go down. So it's the complete opposite of what, you know, the market is looking at, or smarter participants in the market are looking at, in terms of, you know, what tokens to buy in an altcoin bull market. It's gonna be very specific, you know, like old coins like Litecoin. It's got no emissions, but at the same time, it's got no narrative. Like, it will pump. Like Litecoin. Litecoin's one of those tokens. It's just it will just never die. Okay. I haven't seen, but when you see something like Litecoin pumping, okay, that's probably when close to the end of a bull market. Yeah. Hello Millie 111. I don't know who you are, but I appreciate you tuning in. You're probably not here anymore. But yes, hello. Thank you for tuning in. ETH GBP, like, you know, it's ETH pound, no one cares about that. SPX, you know, you got Maroon still, like, you know, getting people to do funky dances in their cult like meetups. Yeah, you know, there's still hopes that this thing's going to $69 billion market cap. I'm not a non-believer, I'm not a believer either, but like, you know, I mean, it could happen. Like, stranger things have happened. I think Doge went to like 250 billion or some crazy number like that. Anyway, I don't know if I'm talking rubbish, but yeah, even Doge, like, you know, but it had the Elon Musk pump, and which I think, by the way, on a side note, I think has lost a lot of its luster. I don't think, like, you know, Elon talking about any token right now is going to pump it. The whole asteroid thing, if you don't know what I'm talking about, there was a woman who was suffering from cancer, and her one dream was to meet Elon Musk. I think she did, and she introduced him to her puppy, which was a teddy called Asteroid, spelled incorrectly. And you know, eventually, you know, people hounded him. She passed away, sadly, you know, rest in peace. You know, the community basically hounded him to say, on the next, you know, Aero mission, when there's people going into space, can you use Asteroid as like the mascot? And he agreed. So the price of the token obviously pumped from, like, you know, 7 million to 150 million, and now it's just sort of like dying off. You know, like, we can go and have a look at that. Now it's sort of dying off. So, like, you know, that's the Elon Musk effect. Slowly but surely dying off, because people just stop believing. Like, so what if Elon talks about, you know, yeah, he's one of the richest men on the planet, but at the same time, it's just like, yeah, little to no point in actually, you know, trying to push forward with that. Just want to make sure everything's all right again. Yeah, seems okay. Well, it's at 110. I think it was down quite a bit earlier. Or is that the right token? No, that's Zora. Oh, speaking of Zora, like, you know, I happened to stumble into the Zora protocol or whatever. Where is it? Asteroid. Let's switch the subject first. I think it's down at, like, yeah, it's down at 60 mil. So, like, you know, it had that Elon Musk pump. And it's sort of like, yeah, just created off. Like, people have stopped believing in the token. Some people are saying, like, you know, you could buy it like 20 mil would be a good price. It will get there at some point, I believe, because it's just like, yeah, the narrative's not there. I mean, if the only narrative you have is relying on, like, you know, Musk to tweet about your token in order for it to pump, it's going to have a rough time in it. But yeah, accumulate if you want to play the meme coin game. I think the meme coin game is dead, but, you know, there's a reason why, like, you know, Elon is trying to find product market fit again, because he knows meme coins aren't product market fit for this current, you know, upcoming cycle. Link is just Link. There's nothing really to say. Another meme coin that had an epic rise, Pepe. Pepe will forever live in the hearts and minds of all crypto natives. At some point, it's going to find a low enough price for it to catch a bid. I just don't think it's now. Like, you know, there are still people who are in profit from this. And if you held through this whole thing, then, you know, I feel bad for you, son. Unless you just walked away and forgot about it. ENA have already been over it. 20% pump. It looks minuscule on a monthly. I like to look at things on a monthly because it gives you perspective. Some people, they'll look on an hourly. So if I showed you an hourly chart now, it just, let's see. Yeah, do that. Yeah, it looks amazing, doesn't it? But, like, you know, it's an hourly. It'll probably go to like 50 cents and I'll be like eating my words. It's the same with everything. If I ignore it, it'll go up, and then eventually I capitulate and buy, and that's the top. So I am the top buyer, okay? Virtuals is like constantly pivoting to different narratives. Looks like sideways consolidation at 70 cents. I think it'll just stick around there. God knows what's going to cause, like, you know, will make the price go up. But yeah, criminal. ETH is finally hit the bottom. So yesterday I was saying that, you know, if it breaks this bottom, it's going to 1,100. Now, I mean, if that's the case, you know, like, if ETH does collapse down and go to 1,100, then it means that ETH is no longer classed as an altcoin. It's more of a major, but it looks like a double bottom here, very clean double bottom here. I mean, do you want to believe it? I mean, you've got like Tom Lee, you know, raising funds through Bitmine or whatever. Maybe he wants to buy more at these prices, but that does look like a double bottom. I mean, if I put that on a daily, make it a bit cleaner and tidy it up a bit. Let's see. There you go. I mean, does it or does it not? You know, bounced there, broke down, reversed up, bounced. But, you know, it's broken before this support. So, like, maybe potentially it could go to 1,100. But if it does go there, it's going to be a very swift recovery. It could go back to 3 digits. A lot of people have, like, lost the, like, yeah, they just don't see the potential in ETH anymore. Obviously, the institutions are getting to grips with it. I mean, it's got an ETF, it's got DATs, it's got everything it needs, like, you know, for price to go up outside of retail participation. But it still hasn't moved. So I don't know what else it's going to take, to be honest, for the price to go up. But clearly it's just whatever it is, it's just not that. But it's down 2% on the day, and you can see like there's green across the board. But like the two majors, Bitcoin and ETH, it's just a shit show. Even Aster's got a bit of green, but I mean, I think people are more trading this thing on leverage than actually purchasing it, and I think that's the case for a lot of tokens. Like I can imagine a few people out there, or a lot of people out there, are seeing the price of 1,800 on ETH, and they're thinking, oh, that looks like you could like hit a lot of leverage on that and just let it go. But without buyers in the open market, the price is not going to do anything but go down. That's where Hyperliquid's got the moat, because at the moment, and I think, well, not the moat, but like it's got the narrative, because at the moment nobody's buying token assets, nobody's buying crypto. Okay, no one's like buying spot crypto or buying tokens and then putting them in another Ledger S or whatever, and just like waiting for the price to go up. Nobody's doing that. The smart people are, the people who've got long term time horizons. They're like, I can have like how much? What 10 ETH is like 18 grand now? Yeah, $18,000 for 10 ETH. Even that seems kind of expensive, considering it's a gas token. But yeah, like there are people out there thinking, 18,000 for 10 ETH is, it's decent. It could go to 10 grand, that's the belief anyway. That's the talk in the crypto streets of whether or not like, ETH could outperform at some point. Maybe it will in the fourth quarter. But yeah, I guess we're just like sitting back and just watching, it's just not got the rhythm yet. And I think it is following Bitcoin. I think it's very, very tied to Bitcoin. And Bitcoin right now looks like, it looks dire. Like I think a lot of Bitcoin bulls who are out there, who perhaps maybe sold at like, on the 4-year cycle, which was like, towards this part here, like, they started selling off. The Bitcoin bulls who were selling the 4-year cycle, they're probably looking at this thinking, bloody hell, I could get double the stack of Bitcoin right now. That's if you sold the top perfectly, but like on the way up, if they did sit on those profits, then potentially there are buyers out there, and maybe just maybe these Bitcoin bulls who play the 4-year cycle are super greedy and they're just waiting for Mr. Michael Saylor, the guy who's going back to work, to capitulate. It could be that they're just like waiting. Like they could bail him out. I'm sure there's enough money on the sidelines to bail out Michael Saylor and just buy up the Bitcoin, but I don't think like Bitcoin maxis are particularly comfortable with somebody owning like 2 to 4% of the supply of Bitcoin. So they'd rather see him wrecked, and then buy the aftermath of that wreck, which is like potentially 20k according to some people. I'm no TA expert. I just go by what I see on the timeline and my own interpretation of like how the market looks, which isn't very valuable, by the way. If you're watching this expecting alpha, I'm sorry guys. I just talk my book or what I think. So yeah, anyway, this could go down to like 20k or something like that, potentially 50k. I mean, yeah, more moderate, I would say. Yeah, but you can see from the chart, like this run up here, there's like no support has been established. So I break below 50, it could potentially go to 20, 30 grand. And it may not seem realistic now, but that's like a 50% drop from current prices. And it's more than possible with Bitcoin. There was this belief that because there was like ETFs, institutional investment, you got the bank, the Bitcoin strategic reserve or whatever talking about it, you would think that maybe perhaps there would be, the price action wouldn't be what it was in the past, because we've all seen this before. We've all seen Bitcoin capitulate and go down like over the course of months, and then slowly recover, and then it does its thing where it runs up like at a ridiculous pace. And at the moment, it currently looks like this sort of situation here, where it's just sort of like come out of the cloud, and it's just sort of like it's going to sell off and then consolidate, sell off, and then we've all seen it. Like even that, it looks like that. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, guys. I don't know. Like, and honestly, after yesterday's video when I was talking about the fact that it's failed on most of its narratives, as a hedge against inflation, as a form of saving, as a form of money, like all of those, none of those things have happened. So like, what else is left is there? It's reached the pinnacle as well, where, you've got the president of the United States talking about it. You got governments who are saying, we won't have Bitcoin on our balance sheet, so they feel threatened by it. Like all the things that, were, portrayed by the evangelists and the people who were, I don't know if that's the right word, or the Bitcoin, maximalists, all the things that they were saying 6, 7, 8 years ago, they all came true, okay, in terms of narrative. But the promise that Bitcoin was supposed to fulfill, it just didn't happen. So, what are you supposed to do from there? You're just supposed to move on, basically. Is what I'm saying.
What a sucker.
And I don't want to be the guy who feels like a sucker, trying to figure out how to, or buying now and just basically losing all of my money. That's from a retail participant. So yeah, I think Bitcoin's cooked for now. I would love for it to just go sideways, because I believe I think Bitcoin's only been usurped once or twice by somebody or another token. Once was Ethereum, I believe it was very brief, and the other time was Bitcoin Cash, and that was very brief. And I think that would kind of be a signal of a bottom, is if ETH or something else goes to the number one spot in terms of market cap. It's very impossible right now because of how highly valued Bitcoin is. But that could be something that is like a sign that we've bottomed out here in terms of Bitcoin. But yeah, more than likely, either does a sharp capitulation down and then just goes sideways. And in that case, what happened the one time we've had an altcoin season, from my eyes anyway, which was 2017-18. In that period, Bitcoin would just go sideways and consolidate while everyone made money on alts. And trust me, there were a lot of people who experienced it, and they'd be sitting not touching Bitcoin, getting screwed on alts for the longest time, who have been praying for alt season. Okay. And at some point, it could happen. It could happen. Anyway, that's enough talk about that. Starknet down as usual. Until the emission schedule finishes, there's nothing to say. So Michael Saylor, blah blah blah. But what else has been going on? Let's see. Here it is. Yeah. So someone like Runner XBT, who's Bitcoin through and through, been around for the longest time. Saylor Ponzi unwinding is once in a multi-decade event, and people are still trying out altcoins. So basically, he's looking for entries on Bitcoin. I don't think now's the time to be looking for them. I think he just needs to do its thing. Once you hear once you see that forced seller, that would be Saylor, dumping all his tokens. Then you want to buy his tokens. You want to buy his tokens from him. And I've said it a few years back, maybe a year ago, and I was just those type of people, even the Tom Lees of this world, who think that they can buy up a load of supply and then create new derivatives of that supply to dilute the actual buying of the actual hard asset. Those type of people have no business being in this market. Yeah, they have the money, they have the businesses and all the rest of it, but for them to hoard a big stack of one coin, all it does is it pushes everyone else away. Now, I remember Michael Saylor doing an interview a while back, and he was basically he got into an argument with somebody because he was like, are you worried about your competitors buying up more Bitcoin than you? And he said, no, why would I worry about my competitors buying more Bitcoin than me? I would prefer if, they actually joined me and bought some Bitcoin as well and had it on their balance sheet, because it's going to bring great revenue for them. Do you know what I mean? In terms of price appreciation, they can create these derivatives, do all these things. He never said that, but I'm sure that's what he's thinking, because that's what he's doing. So he wanted other people to buy, or other businesses and institutions to start buying Bitcoin, because it's good for their balance sheet, because everyone wins if the price is going up. But I'm sure those institutions looked at Michael Saylor and were just well, we're not going to pay the price that you paid, and we're not going to pay more than you, so we'll just wait. They probably just thought, we'll just wait. If you capitulate, maybe it was a great idea, and maybe we'll get in when it's cheaper, And the only way the price is going to go down is if somebody like Michael Saylor capitulates. The price is going down now. He's only sold 32 Bitcoin, which is 2.5 mil at the time, or 3.5 mil USD. So the reason for the price going down is what? Other than the narratives I described in yesterday's live stream, which I kind of talked about already. So yeah, there are people watching. It. We're talking to a woman and use a question mark. Right, I'm sure I've got some other stuff to talk about. Let me go to my likes, because it's not like it's a struggle to talk about anything, but it's still a struggle, if that makes sense. Let's see, we go to my likes. Yeah, apparently, nice to see ETH cruising at 550 transactions per second. Could go to 5K. Cool. Yeah, this is another thing, another lesson that I've had to learn the hard way, because, I mean, even from the very beginning, the thing is, like, me as an individual, I'm kind of loyal. So, like, the first cycle, I remember buying a token called OMG, Omise Go, right? And, I sort of just got involved in it, try to, talk to the devs, or, like, be involved, keep up to date with everything that's going on. And I held it for the longest time, and the price continually dumped. The company were making announcements that they've sold to another company. All these bad things were happening, but I never understood what it was that was actually going on. So it was kind of a situation where I was just like, yeah,
what a
it
sucker.
can't be that bad. So I held these tokens. I held ETH as well during the last bear market, and it basically made me miss out on all the new opportunities that were happening during that summer. Like DeFi summer happened that time where I was holding on to this Omise Go, and I wasn't paying attention to anything else that was happening in the market. So yeah, loyalty to a token is the stupidest thing you could do. Staking a token is the second stupidest thing you could do. Unless you're a business or an institution and you can survive off the yield that you're getting, there's no point in staking. Honestly, like, trust me when I say this. Like, I've still got my virtual staked for another, I think, less than a year now. I'm counting down the months to when I can get those tokens back. So yeah, it's just, you got to, like, actually look at what's new and what's working. And at the moment, if you look at the actual charts, the majors aren't pumping. They will pump eventually, okay, because they're not going anywhere. Okay, they're not going to zero. But in the meantime, you've got pump, like, going up 8%. I don't know why anyone would buy that. It needs a moat. But, like, Hyperliquid, for instance, is the token that, I mean, it's just, I'm not going to say all-time high after all-time high, but it's basically there again, isn't it? Like, there's somebody selling here, like, where it's just kind of going sideways. Like, on a shorter-term time frame, it's crossed up. It's looking bullish, isn't it? Like, it's looking like it wants another leg up. Hopefully to $90, $100. That would be amazing for me anyway, personally. But, let's see where it goes, isn't it? Because they do buy back their token and, whatever else they do with it. So yeah, you don't want to like, hedge your bets and stay where you are. I know people now are still holding their ETH. I got a message from someone just like, what's going on with the ETH? I was like, how do I know? Is it smart contract risk? Are they, are people worried about mythos? Like, it's definitely not like a thing of competition. I just think it's something of like, yeah, there are threats to Bitcoin as, like, a smart contract platform. Yeah, Wall Street crashing BTC to 66k so they can get hype. Yeah, it's just one of them things. Like, I don't know, it's survival of the fittest right now, man. It's definitely survival of the fittest. Yeah, there's more, like, drama with Mega. Like, people are still talking about Mega ETH. Like, it's been out for a week, maybe 10 days. So I think people just need to give Mega ETH a chance, isn't it? Chat, what is happening? What does it mean? Time to fly. What does this mean? Okay, there's some sort of new OpenAI announcement. That's cool. Yeah, I think I'm very prepared today. The ETH bottom is in. It's not in, son. I mean, it could be in. It could be in. It could be a double bottom here, isn't it? It could be. I mean, it hit it and it's reversed. Now, if I'm right again, like, and I don't take advantage of it, I don't know. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I feel like, yeah, like I said, I just think people are not buying it. I think people are just like, what was it? I think people are just, yeah, they're buying, they're leveraging it. I'm telling you, like, everyone is leveraged. Everyone is on Hyperliquid right now, which is why the price of Hyperliquid is going up. And they're leverage trading this, thinking it's a bottom, because, yeah, there are, like, the current mixture of people that are trading crypto right now. They're very wealthy people, like, this is like their side hustle, a bit of fun. They can go home, after their, 6-figure job, they get paid or whatever, and they, trade crypto with a bit of spare change, which could be a couple 10,000s, or a couple 100,000s. Yeah, they're not trying to buy assets to hold. Like, no one is. Until that mentality changes, yeah, this is going to continue to happen. So the main reflection is just like, yeah, the fact that Hyperliquid is, like, outperforming everything because everyone is trading on leverage right now, perps, on Hyperliquid. And Lighter, like, there's a few, like, there's a cabal of Lighter shills right now, well-known names, who are constantly going on about Lighter and, like, it's better in certain ways and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, it's starting to move up. But they're waiting for the retail bid, isn't it? Or they're waiting for people like myself who are here, who may or may not have a bit of capital on the side. They're waiting for us to launch into it and to actually push the price up. I just, I'm not gonna buy the beta. I'm sorry, like as long as Hyperliquid's going up, 5%, 7% a day, I'm good. Like I don't need to chase the beta and potentially make a 10x or something. I don't need to. It's fine. And I probably regret it. Like it could go to $70 as well from $1, but at the same time, look at the market cap to FTV. I know it's a meme. Okay, but 1.79 bill to 448 million is it's not a lot. It's not a lot, man. It's definitely not a lot. I mean, as in like terms of market cap to FTV, like it's not a lot. So it could fly, but at the same time, I'm just not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it, man. I can't. It's very tempting because like the names that are talking about lighter right now, are people that I would have considered their words in the past, but now it's kind of like I've come to the point where I just can't trust what anyone says. Everyone's talking their book, and that's fine. You're allowed to do that. But you do, as if you're going to compete or like try and include yourself in the market, you have to have your own opinions. I still like own a load of Sato as well, surprisingly. And I'm quite honestly, I'm kind of tempted to buy more at these prices. Sato is something I talked about a few streams ago. The liquidity or the volume has just completely died off. But like the token is reliant on people buying it. There's no like emission schedule. Well, there is. You can mint more tokens, but like it's always more expensive to mint more tokens, and it's capped at like 21 mil or 19,370,000. I'm not even sure actually. Let's go to the website and have a look. But yeah, I still believe like Sato is the Bitcoin of Ethereum. If you want to believe that narrative. Yeah. So at the moment, like the market price is 45 cents, and it costs 80 cents to mint more. What's the circulating supply? Circulating supply is 17 million. So there's only 17 million of these tokens. And the belief is just like, people are just going to, trade the token up. So yeah, it's good to see that the mint function and the burn function is still there. So every time someone sells or like, burns tokens, you'd have to buy them back by minting them. I don't know who's crazy enough to actually be burning tokens on this site. Because you could easily swap it on a peer-to-peer like decentralized exchange like Uniswap, for instance. Maybe even Aerodrome. I'm not sure if Aerodrome's got a liquidity pool for Sato. It is on ETH mainnet, so we'll see. It might be a catalyst actually for price to go up if Aerodrome go over there and start providing liquidity. I think it needs that Sato. But in saying that, the liquidity available is like $500,000 is still substantial considering how much is in the reserve. So yeah, they've got $3 million worth of ETH in the reserve as well. So I think like, once ETH turns, like this might be a token you would want to own. I feel like, it could like, it could run up alongside ETH because it's following ETH's price action, although it is a very new token. But yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it. It came out May, so it's been like a month exactly. And you could have got some nice like results on it. Like if you had sold the top 184, it's not bad, That at 40 cents. 20 cents down here, they were definitely buyers. 14 cents, which is pretty much the bottom. A load of people must have like filled their boots up while that was going on. So yeah, at some point, I'll probably add to whatever I have stored away in my secret stash that no one knows about other than us. There's like market updates, exciting. This is from a retail perspective as well. So you are going to see a lot more streams coming along. A lot of people capitulating on the streaming thing, and that's okay. But there are people who are like, professionals in the know, have a lot more access to different types of information that perhaps I don't have. But I can only go by what I see on the timeline and what I read from the charts and from the scroll terminal. So yeah, I'm not sure if this is going to slow down my stream. It probably will. So the scroll terminal is saying like, let's see, heavy downside hedging, near-term nerves, crowded longs. So like, the market was hot for a brief minute there. And it looks like fresh longs leverage building. So people are longing into this all-time high breakout. As I said before, it's more than likely that, people are not buying this token anymore. They're just like longing it or hedging with perps or with options buying puts. When the sell-off happened yesterday, there was a lot of alerts saying that a lot of people are like hedging downside risk. Now, I don't know if those guys are out of those positions yet, but if the price suddenly explodes, that is a short squeeze. I need to like add like a gamma squeeze or something like that. Yeah, everything looks okay. Everything looks healthy. It's a calm market, but there's a lot of downside. A lot of people are thinking like, a capitulation candle for this type of chart is coming. Like it's going to be a big downside swing. Where could it go to? Like, what's the worst it could get? Like 68 was pretty much my bottom line. I was just like, okay, if it goes below 68, I'm screwed. But, thankfully I went to bed and it reversed overnight, and I woke up with a smile on my face. Tears in my eyes to bed, smile on my face when I woke up. It's just one of the things that it's the emotions of the market. It swings like, left and right, swings and roundabouts, as they say. But yeah, I'm super bullish on it, man. But yeah, the scroll terminal is saying like everything is all good. Should we do like have a quick look at the brief? Hype is the one to watch. Calm, fragile, 5210. Quiet, normal volatility. No unusual hedging. This is for hype. The market is relaxed. Why do I keep on freezing that? Like, what is it called? The implied volatility. IV is 90%. And cooling volume is cheap. Moving more than its options for price for. Heavy downside hedging puts strong bids, so it's like it's a bit of a mix. Options turn defensive. Traders paying up for downside protection. So yeah, people are buying puts, probably because they're leveraged long, and they're buying puts just in case a whale comes along and just dumps on the market. Like if Arthur Hayes decides that 75 is enough instead of 150, like he predicted. He tends to like dump 50% below his predictions, because he makes profits all the way up. And he was like, yeah, oversell him. It's fine. My rep is my rep. I'm here to make money. But yeah, I've just got a feeling like, we're going to get a big fuck you candle at some point during this run up. And it just hasn't happened yet. I mean, you could look at a daily or a monthly and just be like, okay, maybe it did happen. Especially the monthly. The monthly is actually insane. The monthly. Yeah. It's actually insane. But it's price discovery, It's price discovery, man. I'm telling you, like I reckon, like this when it hit 68 yesterday, the amount of people that got in, because the sentiment was that like $70 was just like the benchmark or the point where if it breaks above there, then it's gonna go to Valhalla or whatever, or to Mars, and it did that. It broke above it, and then it basically sold off yesterday, to retest, and here we are now. Like potentially about to break all-time highs once again. So every day is like an all-time high breakout minus yesterday. Okay, I'll give you that, minus yesterday. Yeah. Hyperliquid is. I'm just praying it works out, but we'll see. I'll wake up in the morning and be upset, but yeah. I had no intentions of actually talking about just like charts, like, but to be honest, like news-wise, there's not really much going on. How this is the new meme, in it? How your girlfriend looks at you when you ask her to block the guy who raped her in 2019. Jesus, because the claims are complete bullshit 90% of the time. Oh, careful, bruv. Why would we get mad at this? Would it be normal to block your rapist? Oh man. Base affiliate program is live. Creators apply now. Maybe I can apply for this. What do you reckon, guys? Do you think they'll give me a base affiliate? I could talk nothing. I'll just become like the base guy. Be the one that trader get paid today. 3 simple steps. As an affiliate, you earn when your audience trades, not one time. Brutal. Okay, I'll apply to it, but I guarantee I won't get it. Anything I've applied for in Web3 crypto, I've never gotten. So, but it's worth a try, isn't it? Yeah. So like maybe we should try and like switch it up. So, what we're gonna look for tomorrow? Because I'm gonna be back tomorrow. We're gonna switch this up. I'm going to be back tomorrow, and what are we hoping for? What are we hoping to achieve, guys? What are we hoping will be the new, thing that happens? We all know that, like, Hyperliquid's going to an all-time high. But, I don't know, WorldCoin? I don't know, like, what else it could be. Like, that, what do we want for tomorrow? We want all-time highs. Or look, we want alts to outperform now. That's what we want. We want Bitcoin to continue doing what it's doing, which is nothing. It's the daily. Oh, so it's the daily's flipped. Okay, let me check. Oh yeah, see that hourly looks healthy. Yeah, we just want like a Hyperliquid to outperform. We want alts to outperform, but we don't want like the majors, these type of tokens, Solana, ETH. Bitcoin, we don't want them to do anything. Okay, they're too big to move. Okay, they're too big to lose, they're too big to move. I mean, potentially at 60k. because I think like general consensus and belief is that, you know, if Bitcoin does well, the rest of the market does well. But Bitcoin, in terms of like the amount of money that is circulating within the crypto markets, is like a vacuum. Once it starts going and moving up, like nothing else has any chance. It's like a gravitational pull for liquidity. It just pulls everything towards it, and all the other coins just die. You know, there was a famous saying, you know, once Bitcoin sneezes, the rest of the market gets AIDS. So you don't want like Bitcoin. You do like to see this type of price action where, you know, altcoins are showing strength against Bitcoin, but you don't want it to be a thing where like Bitcoin completely dies. You want it to see it like sideways consolidate and just do nothing. Just be boring, Bitcoin. Just be boring, go sideways. You know, you've got like the characters that are going to try and interfere with the process, and now they're learning a lesson. You know, that you try and interfere with the 4-year cycle, which, to be honest, like I'm kind of a believer in now. You try and mess with the 4-year cycle, and you will get your fingers burned, because I don't know what it is with Bitcoin, but there are things at play here that, you know, forces that we cannot see that define, or, you know, define where Bitcoin is, and no amount of money is going to shift it. The guy bought $2.5 billion worth of the token, and it did nothing. Okay, it just shrugged it off, just like, okay, you know, they like, it didn't encourage anyone else to jump in. You know, it didn't even define a floor. And $2.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, like of anything, is insane. It's an insane amount to be throwing at a coin. Okay, so yeah, and look where it is now. So you can't rely on one man with one wallet. It takes, like, I think it's just like it takes the consciousness of, like, you know, the globe, like, to push this thing forward, like, or push it up. People have to really believe that Bitcoin is the future. It is a store of value, and it is a hedge against inflation, which is a store of value technically. But yeah, it's been proven to not be that. And the reason for that is because you've had one man buying it. There, I said it. Okay, I said it. You haven't had, like, you know, people in Peru, or, like, you know, war talk, like, you know, where there's wars going on. You haven't had even, like, you know, the wars like in Palestine. I don't want to get too much into that, or, like, you know, the Israeli stuff and all the wars that are happening in Russia and Ukraine, and like all this madness is happening. And not once did anyone think like, oh, I should put all my wealth into Bitcoin. Like, just think about that. Just think about that. The whole idea of, like, yeah, you know, all you need to do is remember the seed phrase in your brain, and you know, put it in like an address, and you'll be fine. No one did that. Like, people, hundreds of thousands of people are you know, getting kicked out of their homes. You know, they're getting deported places, whatever. Like, no one decided that, yeah, I'm going to store my wealth in Bitcoin so I can get out of this country, and then when I get somewhere, type the seed phrase in, and then I can, you know, extract the value and live a good life somewhere else. Yeah, unless they're lying and, like, people are hiding it. But I mean, it's easily traceable anyway, isn't it? Like, somehow they've figured out a way to read the blockchain. There's, you know, there's no hiding your funds on chain. So yeah, I just don't know, man. I just don't know. Is this the bottom for ETH? I don't know, man. I feel like it could go lower. I feel like it could. I mean, break below here, like I said, 1,100. You just have to see it out, or you can just buy Hyperliquid. Okay, I'm trying not to ramble too much today. I've learned, I like, every day I finish my streams, I like, and I know it sounds weird, okay, but I listen back to them, and I try to figure out how I could do better in it. And the one thing I found is that I speak too quickly. I'm in too much of a rush. Like, streaming should be fun and enjoyable, but for some strange reason, I put myself on a timer. People have short attention spans as well, but I feel like, yeah, long-term content, long-form content, is going to make a big major comeback. Short form content, it just seems too fake and generic now. And, you know, like, you've had the Kai Cenats and the Speeds. Speeds is still going strong. You know, he's a performer, in it. And, you know, all the people that have made money, they've all retired basically. And it's like, you know, the powers that be, the people, the marketing managers who are losing out on all this profit from these ex streamers, they're trying to get people to follow new streamers. And they're trying to push new streamers forward, and it's just so fake. It's not real. Like, you know, Speed became famous because originally he was a real person. You know, even he is still as real as he can be now, isn't it? But I'm sure there's a whole team behind him that, you know, works diligently to make sure that he makes, you know, he keeps on making the numbers that he's making. But, like, you know, if you're trying to introduce somebody new into the streaming world, and you're backing them from the very start. Like, you know, you're signing a contract for some 14-year-old kid and you're pushing him out to the front to be like, yeah, do the song and dance sort of stuff. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. There's a reason why, like, you know, rappers become famous because they're famous in the streets first. Okay? And I know we're talking like crypto and stuff like that, but, you know, from a streamer perspective, it's kind of like, yeah, I feel like there was a push to short form content because you couldn't get the revenue you could get from long form content that was made by people who were real. Does that make sense? Yeah. And now it's kind of like, yeah, short form content, they're forcing it through, but that's become fake as well. You know, like, you can't believe anything these short form, like 15-second videos are doing. And it rots your brain. So yeah, I think like the long attention span, listen to someone just waffle on for like, you know, an hour or two, might be the thing to make a comeback here. Who knows? But yeah, I'm going to continue to work on the stream, presentation wise and stuff like that. And then we'll take it from there. It's really difficult to do that, like, you know, the voice and the mouth thing and all of the animations and stuff like that. But I found the way via GitHub, open source, and Claude. And this is the best I can do for now. And I'll continue to like iterate and improve on it. So like, yeah, plenty of things to happen, plenty of things to continue to look at. So yeah, I think that's my hour done. Have I done my hour? Yeah, I've done my hour. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll have like more news and drama. You know, we can talk about other things. I guess, you know, it gets quite boring just talking about crypto, but not many people do. Yeah, we'll just keep it rolling. All right, boys, ladies, gents. I appreciate you watching. Check out my Pump Fund or my X. You know, if you want to communicate that way, you can follow me on X. I make shit posts. Yeah, like and subscribe. Make any suggestions you feel like that could improve the stream. I've got thick skin. You know, you can insult me if you want. Twitch, shout out Twitch. I need a follower, bro. Like, you know, I need one. Come on, guys. And Pump Fun. I'll continue to build my community on Pump Fun. I feel like it's a good way to, like, you know, start on fresh grounds. And I don't think Pump Fun's going anywhere with the amount of money they're making because of all the plebs that trade meme coins. So I'll continue to stream on Pump Fun. It will be my main avenue for like the community. So I do have a community on there. If you wanted to join it, you can ask questions or like just make conversation. Then yeah, more than happy to, like, you know, chat, I guess. But yeah, I hope everyone's doing well, and I can't wait to watch the stream back to see